the next few minutes, you'll see graphic images of finance and accounting concepts. Please do not be alarmed. There will be no equations. There will be no spreadsheets. Some viewers may be shocked to find that the concepts presented are rather awesome. If that's the case for you, support materials will be presented at the end of this video.
Hi, this is Gary. Welcome to Development That Pays. Money now is worth more than money later. Everything we look at today stems from this single, simple principle. If I was to give you £12,000, would you rather have it now or a year from now? I'm sure you'd prefer to have it now. This money now is worth more than money later thing is for most people completely intuitive. We even have a saying for it. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. What if I offer you $10,000 now or $12,000 later? Which would you prefer? I'm sure you'd say that it depends on what I mean by later. If later is tomorrow, you'd be happy to wait until tomorrow for the £12,000. If later is 50 years from now, then you'd just take the £10,000 now. But what if later is 6 months or 18 months? That question's harder to answer. The difficulty is this: you need to be able to compare a present value, the £10,000, with a future value, the £12,000. These are two different things. And as any schoolboy will tell you, you can't compare apples and oranges. We need to be comparing apples and apples, a present value with a present value. Luckily, there's a way to do exactly this. Finance types talk about discounting future cash flows down to their present value. It's a value that can be calculated. Here's how the value of the £12,000 payment varies over time. The further we travel into the future, the less it's worth. Each of the bars here moves us 1 year into the future. By the time we get to 20 years, the £12,000 is worth hardly anything at all. If we do the same thing but taking smaller steps, each of these bars represents a month, then at a certain point, the present value of £12,000 drops below £10,000. We can apply the same kind of approach to multiple payments. Here we have 4 quarterly payments of £3,000. We already know that adding up the £3,000 payments would be a case of mixing oranges, bananas, blueberries and plums. What we need to do is discount each of the payments down to their present values. Once that's done, we have values that can be compared directly and totaled. This total is known as the net present value, NVP for short.
Hold on a second. These pretty graphs are all very well, but what about the whole Agile Waterfall thing?
You thought the graphs were pretty? I'm really pleased. They took ages to do and was especially happy with the multicolored one. Oh, you were talking about the Agile and Waterfall thing. Okay, well, let's see. Agile and Waterfall are projects, and projects involve expenses and, with a little bit of luck, income. Let's start with a super contrived example of a project. It has expenses of £10,000 a month for 6 months. At that point, the product is launched and the money starts pouring in, £10,000 a month for the following 6 months. £60,000 out, £60,000 in, break even. Not so fast, we need to do a spot of discounting. There's now more red than green. This project has a negative net present value, not a good thing. If we could magically switch this around so that the income payments came before the expense payments, this time when we do our little discounting trick, it works out in our favour. There's more green than red. The net present value this time is positive. Interesting, isn't it? The only thing that changed was the timing of the cash flows. That and that alone made the difference between loss and profit. There's something else that I'd like you to take from this. To maximise profit, get your income payments in as early as possible and delay your expense payments as long as possible. You've been very patient. It's time to jump into Waterfall and Agile properly. It's been a while since I worked on a Waterfall project, but as I recall, it went something like this. We'd start with a small project team and set to work. We might spend a couple of months on research, 2 or 3 months on design, then finally get around to build something. As the launch date loomed, we'd panic and throw people at the project. Finally, we'd be ready for a grand launch, and the money would start rolling in. Never quite at the level that we might have expected, but that's another story. Ideally, we go on and look at the entire lifetime of the project, but I think 24 months is enough for our purposes. That's our Waterfall project. Let's do the same kind of thing for an Agile project. In Agile, the team tends to stay more or less constant throughout. There's no big bang launch as such. So the costs, the outgoings, are much more stable. I'll draw them in now for the whole period. In good Agile fashion, a first version of whatever it is comes out quite early. It doesn't bring in a huge amount of money, but that's not really the point. The point of the first release is to learn, to get feedback, to take the feedback and improve and develop the product. The team keeps working in that iterative fashion and the sales keep on increasing. 2 different projects, 2 very different sets of income and expenses. However, you'll be absolutely shocked to learn that I've fixed the numbers. For each project, if you add up the greens, add up the reds, take one from the other, you get exactly the same number. The net value of both projects is exactly the same. The difference between the projects is the size and, of course, the timing of the cash flows. It's time for some discounting. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And the winner is the Agile project. The Waterfall project got off to a great start by keeping its expenses low and delaying some of the big costs. While Agile started and continued with high costs, it was able to get some green on the board early on. Although the income was modest, the discounting applied to these early flows was also modest. After the Big Bang launch, Waterfall was quick to ramp up its income, but these income flows didn't turn up until 12 months after the project started. Notice how the income flows were subject to some fairly heavy discounting. I'd love to claim that this is proof positive that Agile is more profitable than Waterfall. Of course, we haven't come anywhere near to proving that. But it is, for my money anyway, one of the strongest arguments for the Agile approach. Start small, test the market, make improvements, rinse and repeat. It gets green on the board early, and that, as we've seen today, makes all the difference. And finally, what we've been looking at today falls under the general banner headline of discounted cash flow analysis. I'm not a financy type, far from it, but I think discounted cash flow analysis is extremely cool. If you'd like to dig a little deeper, I have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 videos for you to check out. They cover present value, net present value, discount rate, and internal rate of return. You'll find links to each of them in or around this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Don't forget to click subscribe for a new video every week.